You would never be able to guess who makes a cameo in Yellowstone episode 13. Curious? Keep watching to find out. In the last episode of Yellowstone, plenty of unresolved plotlines came to the forefront. It delivered heartbreak as Colby tragically died, protecting Carter from a dangerous horse, highlighting the harsh realities of ranch life. Jamie's suspicious actions after Sarah Atwood's death made him a suspect in John Dutton's murder, while Casey confronted Sarah's hitman. Meanwhile, Rip and Beth prepared an auction to save the ranch, as Casey chose his family over the Yellowstone ranch. All of this has complicated the Yellowstone plot further, and honestly, it felt a bit overwhelming to take in. Episode 12 was packed with twists, revelations, and heartbreak, delivering an emotional roller coaster. Thankfully, the new episode takes a lighter approach, giving fans a moment to process Colby's tragic death while still maintaining steady progress. However, episode 13 is far from filler. Instead, it masterfully sets the stage for fresh conflicts, deeper character arcs, and unexpected turns that promise to leave viewers eager for what's next. Before I break down episode 13 for you all, I'd like to remind new viewers to press the bell icon and hit the subscribe button to show some support and join the modern Cowgirl family. If you're already into this video, make sure you leave a like because I have more recaps coming to this channel soon. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Episode 13 picks up after Casey's bone-chilling threat to Grant. He returns home and confesses to Monica about what he's done. In the previous episode, he assured her that everything he's doing is for the family, yet we saw him slip away into the night with a bag full of weapons. It was a puzzling moment, but in the end, his actions were meant to bury the past without shedding blood. By threatening Grant, Casey ensured that no one would ever come near his family again, while keeping his hands clean. With that, Casey once again assures Monica that he's done cleaning up the past. From now on, his only focus is the family he built, his wife and child. But this stance is surprising, considering Jamie is still walking free. Casey knows his father's murderer is out there, yet he's choosing to move on. Does he have a plan? Maybe, but I can't blame him for prioritizing the family that's still alive and needs him now. Later in the episode, however, we learn that Casey isn't entirely turning his back on the ranch. Instead, he's choosing to leave the murder and its chaos behind while focusing on what truly matters to him. This revelation shows Casey's growth, emphasizing that his priority has shifted to ensuring his family's safety and future, even if it means leaving behind the Dutton legacy he once fiercely defended. While Casey steps away, Rip shoulders the weight of saving John Dutton's ranch. In Give the World Away, the Duttons face an uphill battle to preserve their legacy. Following John's death, massive estate taxes drive the family into a financial tailspin. Beth steps up to oversee a fire sale, auctioning everything from prized horses to ranch equipment, while Rip prepares the crew for the uncertain future ahead, knowing this battle could define their survival. These moments bring a heavy mix of hope and desperation, capturing the Duttons' struggle to keep their way of life alive against impossible odds. Rip tells the rest of the ranch hands to start looking to work elsewhere, which is the most heartbreaking moment in the show, but it's necessary for the Duttons. Only Lloyd and Carter are set to stay on, signaling a bittersweet end to the ranch's camaraderie. I'm not sure what it means for Teeter, who had become one of my favorite characters in Yellowstone, but we'd likely have to say goodbye to her as well. Teeter is already reeling from Colby's death, so Rip might let her stay simply to spare her the hassle of finding a new job, but that's just speculation. Right now, there's not much Rip can do for his friends anyway. The ranch is completely out of cash, and Rip feels the pressure and pain. To make sure the sale goes well, Beth travels to Texas to oversee horse sales led by the flamboyant and infuriating Travis, whose tactics, including using the ranch maintenance team posing as rival buyers, help drive prices sky high. This is actually a common practice, and I'll be honest, I have done this before in horse auctions, but only to protect my horse and make sure I get up to the reserve price I am looking for. But Travis got an extra $1 million out of his buyers because of it. What a boss. Despite his off-putting bravado and womanizing attitude, Beth recognizes Travis's value and convinces him to help with the Yellowstone auction in Montana. Of course, getting him on board wasn't easy. Travis enjoys making Beth sweat, but deep down, he cares about the ranch just as much. There's a reason he's stuck around for so long. He shares a long history with Rip, something that Beth understands all too well. Their bond runs deeper than just business. built on years of loyalty, hardship, and unspoken respect. But back in Texas, we meet Travis's new, much younger girlfriend, Sadie, played by none other than newly minted cowgirl Bella Hadid. Bella was just named the 2024 National Cutting Horse Association Limited Age Event Rookie of the Year. Not bad for a Victoria's Secret angel and supermodel. This scene also has a surprise cameo by Bella's real-life horse trainer and futurity champion boyfriend Adin Banuelos, and I went wild seeing all the cameos in this episode. The scene is great, not just because of Bella's sudden appearance, but also because of the quick, lighthearted conversation she shares with Beth. Beth takes the chance to badmouth Travis, calling him arrogant and sexist, and I do not disagree, but Sadie brushes it off with a simple, "You ever seen him ride before?" Beth rolls her eyes, but can't help amending her opinion after watching Travis skillfully work a cow for his Brazilian buyers, admitting, "Okay, yeah, I get it." Okay, this poker scene caused quite the stir on the internet and got a ton of backlash, but I think that's because most of the viewers didn't understand Bella Hadid's new legitimate cowgirl lifestyle and that she isn't just there as arm candy. She's there also to prove that she deserves her place in cowboy culture and has the buckles to back it up. Watch our episode on Bella Hadid to get the full breakdown on her equestrian roots and recent pivot to the Western world. I think there was a lot of confusion in the fandom here, and hopefully I have helped clear that up just a little. However, I fully agree with the fandom that Taylor Sheridan was absolutely showboating and just feeding his ego in this scene. Was the strip poker scene necessary for the plot? Of course not. Do we tolerate it because we love the show? Hell yes. Okay, back to the breakdown. Despite her criticisms, even Beth acknowledges that Travis is a man who knows his worth. In fact, with Travis's help, the sale raises $30 million, a temporary reprieve that buys the ranch another year of debt payments, but does little to resolve its deeper struggles. However, 1 year is a long time to figure out the mess that was left behind after John Dutton's death. In fact, Beth has a plan to clean up the financial rubble, but it won't be easy. Meanwhile, Jamie's world starts to crumble under public scrutiny. After Sarah's death, he's completely on his own. He might believe he's about to take over his father's legacy, but the reality is quite the opposite. The cops have linked him to Sarah, and the mounting public pressure is closing in. So, what does he do? He runs to his ex, Christina, who advises him to deny any involvement in the murder, and instead push for an investigation into his father's death. She has a solid plan, but one that Jamie could have easily come up with on his own. I was not impressed with this part of the episode. Jamie just seems like he does not have an original thought in his body and requires a strong woman to tell him what to do at every turn. Don't get me wrong, we absolutely need a villain, but Jamie's character is just so poorly written. In the beginning, it was much more believable and not as cringe, but over the seasons, his character has gotten too predictable and weak. He is as weak and pathetic as Beth is strong and aggressive. It has actually gotten a bit ridiculous, and I know I am not the only one in the fandom who believes this to be true. But playing devil's advocate here, everyone else on the show is glorified and written in a much better light, while Jamie simply reacts poorly to things thrown his direction. Does that make him more human and less of a superhero like Rip? Absolutely. But it definitely makes his character very easy to dislike in comparison to the rest of the cast. And in that case, the writers did their job. It's been a roller coaster for Yellowstone fans. Lately, every episode revolves around one death after another. Fans have missed the usual laid-back banter between the old crew. Just when I thought we'd never get one of those moments again, we got a heartwarming scene between Beth and Teeter. Honestly, their night out at the tourist bar felt like a throwback to early Yellowstone, when things were simpler, and our biggest worry was whether Beth and Rip would actually end up together. The fun lasted all of 5 minutes before reality hit. The ranch's future is still uncertain. While Casey ensured no one would come after his family by threatening Grant, saving Yellowstone is an entirely different challenge. Remember when he said he had a plan? Turns out he does, but it's as bold as it is unpredictable. In a surprising turn, Casey proposes a radical idea to save the ranch. Give it away. Beth is shocked she didn't come up with the plan, but this is something my viewers and I have been talking about for weeks now. We think his plan seems to involve rainwater and the Broken Rock Reservation, offering a glimmer of hope that the Yellowstone might survive intact, even if the family relinquishes ownership. Again, this would be the silver bullet the Dutton family needs to still preserve the ranch and dig out of the taxes hole that is looming over them. While the episode moved at a slower pace, it laid the groundwork for some crucial developments. Casey may have stepped back from seeking vengeance against Jamie, but Beth remains laser-focused on bringing her brother down. For now, though, her attention is on saving the ranch, a task that feels like the highest priority amid all the chaos. Looking ahead, the next episode promises to bring John Dutton's funeral, a moment bound to stir deep emotions. So, prepare yourself for some serious waterworks. Grab a tissue or two, just in case. With the funeral as a focal point, we're likely to see some emotional reunions and confrontations. Will Beth finally explode when she crosses paths with Jamie? My money's on a resounding yes. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps. And if you've been loving the Yellowstone content, be sure to subscribe to the channel to show your support.